Oh, here we go. This is good. We didn't play this the other day. This is like we'll react to one video today, probably.
Yeah, I still need to see this.
Oh, it's awesome. It's to Piers Morgan's credit, he does the best job I've ever seen of him just shutting up and learning from somebody. And I'm sure that the Sachs guy might be a mixed bag. Yeah, Jeffrey Sachs. Anyway, do you want me to go ahead and start playing it, or?
Yeah.
An economist.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, he is an economist. Oh, and now he's a Kremlin mouthpiece, according to the Hill.
Oh, yeah. See, he probably is pretty cool then. Okay. I was just like, I don't know who the this guy is. He's spitting absolute good shit here, though.
Yeah.
You seem very reliant on accepting Putin's worldview rather than perhaps the stark reality of the barbarism with which he's executed this war.
Yeah, maybe because I know too much about the United States, because the first war in Europe after World War II was the U.S. bombing of Belgrade for 78 days to change borders of a European state. The idea was to break Serbia, to create Kosovo as an enclave, and then to install Bondesteel, which is the largest NATO base in the Balkans, in the Southwest Balkans. So the U.S. started this under Clinton, that we will break the borders. We will illegally bomb another country. We didn't have any UN authority. This was a, quote, NATO mission to do that. Then I know the United States went to war repeatedly, illegally, in what it did in Afghanistan, and then what it did in Iraq, and then what it did in Syria, which was the Obama administration, especially Obama and Hillary Clinton, tasking the CIA to overthrow Bashar al-Assad.
With Max Blumenthal's daddy.
It did with NATO illegally bombing Libya to topple Muammar Gaddafi. And then what it did in Kiev in February 2014. I happened to see some of that with my own eyes. The U.S. overthrew Yanukovych together with right-wing Ukrainian military forces. We overthrew a president. And what's interesting, by the way, is we overthrew Yanukovych the day after the European Union representatives had reached an agreement with Yanukovych to have early elections, a government of national unity, and a stand down of both sides. That was agreed. The next thing that happens is the opposition, quote unquote, says we don't agree. They stormed the government buildings and they deposed Yanukovych. And within hours, the United States says, yes, we support the new government. It didn't say, oh, we had an agreement. That's unconstitutional what you did.
I would just like to pause right here and say that if you offered Jimmy $1 billion, he could not offer you a history of the region that was even 10% as salient as what this guy has just offered, even though he made daily content about Ukraine and Russia and claimed this was his politics. You can just see how inauthentically he arrived at those conclusions when you see how clearly this man's able to illustrate one straight timeline, right? He goes from the end of World War II all the way to the Clinton administration, all the way to the Obama administration, and will continue into, the later policy, but just something worth pointing out.
So we overthrew a government, contrary to a promise that the European Union had made. And by the way, Russia, the United States, and the EU were parties to that agreement. And the United States, an hour afterwards, backed the coup. Okay, so everyone's got a little bit to answer for. In 2015, the Russians did not say, we want the Donbass back. They said peace should come through negotiations, and negotiations between the ethnic Russians in the east of Ukraine and this new regime in Kiev led to the Minsk II agreement. The Minsk II agreement was voted by the UN Security Council unanimously. It was signed by the government of Ukraine. It was guaranteed explicitly by Germany and France. And you know what? And it's been explained to me in person. It was laughed at inside the US government. This is after the UN Security Council unanimously accepted it. The Ukrainians said, we don't want to give autonomy to the region. Oh, but that's part of the treaty. The US told them, don't worry about it. Angela Merkel explained in Die Zeit, in a notorious interview after the 2022 escalation, she said, oh, you know, we knew that Minsk II
I'm always
was
so
just
impressed by people that can talk so long without like losing their breath at all. You know what I'm saying? If I go like 4 minutes without stopping, I start to like,
hyperventilate.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've been really trying to work on it as a podcaster, and I'm terrible at it. I say like too much, I too much, I ramble too much. These guys that are, you could tell, really high level cognitive thinkers, I think they speak at a slower cadence,
Yeah.
but it's so
Deliberate.
yeah, and it sounds nice. It's
Yeah,
way
I
better
know.
than listening to
Yeah.
dumbasses like us. I don't know why you guys don't subscribe to his podcast.
a holding pattern
The
to give
sack guard.
Ukraine
The Zach Guard. The Sack Guard.
That's what I said. Yeah.
time to build its strength. No. Minsk II was a UN Security Council unanimously adopted treaty that was supposed to end the war. So when it comes to who's trustworthy, who to believe, and so forth, I guess my problem, Piers, is I know the United States government. I know it very well. I don't trust them for a moment. I want these two sides actually to sit down in front of the whole world and say, these are the terms. Then the world can judge, because we could get on paper clearly for both sides of the world, we're not going to overthrow governments anymore, the United States needs to say. We accept this agreement, the United States needs to say. Russia needs to say we're not stepping 1 foot farther than whatever the boundary is actually reached. And NATO's not going to enlarge. And let's put it for the whole world to see. You know, once in a while, treaties actually
I just wants to
hold.
give Putin what he wants.
Wow. Just submitting to Putin's wrath. Wow. And the United States, the only beacon for truth and justice. It's crazy. But I thought that guy did a way better job than we ever could have of being like, hey, guys, this is why Gavin and I have never really felt comfortable trying to send military weapons to Ukraine. It's why we've never jumped on the whole bandwagon of the Vosh, Dylan Burns guys who just wanted to fan the flames of this war. The United States is never out for justice. We're never out for the little guy. We're never showing up for what's good or what's right. We only show up for our wallet. Our wallet leads us to a lot of places, and we will always go there. But if it's not right with the wallet, the United States doesn't give a f***, and they will let you suffer and die. And there's examples all over the world, right? Take a look at Palestine right now. Where are we going to Russian?